had that Green Bay sucks shirt last time? Is that just something silly, who cares, or is it something that kind of...
Yeah, I ain't worried about him. We're not worried about him.
Not worried about All-Pro Amon-Ra St. Brown, the man who's literally named after an Egyptian god. The man who literally is leading the league. I'm sorry, top 10, or at least number 2, I believe, in touchdown receptions. He's top 10 in receiving yards. And then Pete Bukowski, who we're going to have on tomorrow, had the nerves to fucking quote tweet that and say Amon-Ra on the average is this amount, which the Green Bay doesn't fucking matter. Does not mean he's a bad player at all. He's been in the league for 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't even believe he played the first matchup against the Green Bay Packers. This is the dismissal of Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
By the Green Bay Packers media, by the Green Bay Packers players. There's too many weapons to guarantee who's going to go off in this game. But I pray it's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown because Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the best and most consistent weapons in the Detroit Lions offense. And I think these guys, this guy, Xavier McKinney, he just got here. He's new to Green Bay, so maybe it's not him as much. I think they're tired of seeing Amon-Ra St. Brown have more success in Lambeau Field than they do. Because, he does a lot of Lambeau leaps. He really does. He gets up there. He gets into the stand quite a few times. And you got your hick inbred fans dumping beer on him while he's in the stands, which is, that might be a little upsetting seeing a wide receiver who just consistently produces against you every single time he matches up against you. So you might want to be a little worried about him, Xavier McKinney, because I'm going to put a nice little chunk of change on Amon-Ra St. Brown anytime touchdown in this one after that. I don't know what these guys think they're doing. Like, you want to poke the bear. You're poking the bear of the best team in the NFL. You're poking the bear of a reigning first team All-Pro. So I don't know if this is the match you want. I don't know if this is the street fight you want, buddy, because Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to win. He just is. He's just better than you at football, the game you guys play for a living. Like, he is just more talented at you than you are at the job that you have. So I guess it's okay. It makes sense that they're dismissive of him because you never want to really talk about a guy that's just flat out better than you. You don't want to bring that up too much. So it sucks. It sucks that you guys are so petty and you can't realize the greatness in front of you.
Nick?
Talk about the last guy on earth that you want to put a chip on his shoulder. What in the world is Xavier McKinney thinking? He knows every single guy drafted before him. Like, locker room bulletin board material, this is the last player that you want to have it. And in big games, what usually happens? Jared Goff goes to his all-pro Amon-Ra St. Brown, his safety valve. When he gets in trouble, Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to cook in this game at home and on primetime. It's just, I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like Amon-Ra St. Brown is usually showing out, and he usually has a touchdown celebration to match the production. So get ready for a big celebration Thursday night from Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's what I want. That's what I'm rooting for. It's what I respect about Amon-Ra St. Brown, and one thing I think that makes him great beyond his abilities on the field is the fact that he's just also a team guy, and he's, despite how many yards he could rack up, I think we saw in the Jaguars game specifically that he could just. Him and Goff, would they go 30 straight receptions? Yeah. They just go pitch and catch anytime they want to. But he's willing to sacrifice just being a diva for the ball for the betterment of the team because there are so many weapons. And it takes those weapons utilized individually at different times for this team to win. Because obviously you can lock down Amon-Ra St. Brown if you need to, bring down an extra player. Maybe even not, though. I think he's that nasty of a route runner that he still could beat a couple double teams as well. But
he can.
He's just willing to take that step back for the betterment of the team. So I can't guarantee he's going to go off this Sunday, but I'm hoping that's the one that it is. We'll get to who we think will.
Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to get his. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to get his. And his, on a bad day, is 60 receiving yards.
It's 60 and a touchdown.
Yeah. So
it's that's the thing. The guy who quoted my tweet originally was 50 yards. 50 yards and a touchdown, bud. Yeah. Don't forget the tutty. 6 receptions. That's not.
Yeah, in the game before that against the Packers, he had 9 receptions on 11 targets for 94 yards, I think it was. So, you might want to worry about him because he's been carving you guys up these past 2 games. So, if you're not worried about him, you might want to start worrying about him.
I would hate him too. If he's fucking scoring touchdowns on
dancing
my team,
on me, doing a headstand in the end zone against my team, yeah, like embarrassing you on national television. Yeah, I wouldn't like the guy either, but you better get used to it because it's not going to stop.
We got a lot of this segment left. Who is the guy you think is going to show off this week for the Detroit Lions? Because it's different every week.
Yeah.
I got my answer, I think.
I think I do too.
Who you got?
I think I'm going to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Congratulations, you just got
I
Amon-Ra
truly
St.
do.
Clown.
I think, like, if Decker doesn't play, there's going to be a lot of shorter routes, a lot of shorter dropbacks. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be involved in a lot of those. He's going to be involved in a lot of plays over the middle. We talked about he got that touchdown in 6 receptions in his last game against the Packers. And the one before that, he had 11 targets. And the one before that, he hasn't had, except for the first game in his career against the Packers, a game where he's had less than 7 targets. He averages 8.3 targets per game against the Packers. So you throw the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown 8 times, he's going to catch at least 7 of them.
Yeah. I can see. I mean, he is your leading, not even leading defending all-pro because you have 2 other guys too, but I could definitely see Amon-Ra St. Brown. Me, when I was looking at the numbers for the Packers going into this matchup, I think DeAndre Swift hit him for like a 100-yard game, and they barely beat them. With Dan Skipper, I think very similar to last week. You're going to run the shit out of that ball.
A little Gibble.
Yeah. This week, dealing with some shit. Right? Got all that pent-up aggression or pissed
He
offness.
wants to prove that he's not hampering the team.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Campbell goes to your locker or whatever you guys had that conversation. I'm sure there was a conversation.
And I'm sure it wasn't nice.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't nice. And so now, and not only like having that conversation with Dan Campbell,
you
and it being
talking to
uneasy,
Nick.
and it being like a little bit greasy, whatever he felt from that. Beyond that, you have to feel at some point you let your team down too.
Yeah.
And doing that. So when to make up for that, I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs. But there's been comment. I love Dave Montgomery. There's been comments out there that Jahmyr maybe should see a little bit more carries. And I'm not against Dave Montgomery at all. I still think you need him to set the pace, but I think the Lions. This kid's averaging 6 yards per carry.
Yeah, but they know what they're doing, man. They're keeping him alive. They're keeping Jahmyr Gibbs alive.
They're gonna run Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna be the main guy for the
They're saving him for games like this. They're saving him for playoff matchups. They're saving him for games at home against a divisional rival where you need this win to stay on pace for the best league or the best record in the NFC. They're going to unleash Gibbs in certain games, but he's never going to be a guy that gets 20 carries a game. He's not built like that, like put together like that. He's not. So having David Montgomery to take a workload of the Yeoman's carries and then bringing Gibbs in certain games and giving him a lot of carries, I like it. That's going to get the most out of him. That's going to prolong his prime and his impact in the NFL.
I think this is a game where he either matches Monty in carries or maybe even has a little bit more, and I think he takes advantage of that in a big way.
I don't hate that at all.
Nick?
Yeah, my brain immediately went to Gibbs just because everything that happened this week. I think you go immediately right back to him. This team does not win a Super Bowl unless Gibbs is
And the fumble last week, too.
And the fumble.
And the
you
fumble,
go
yeah.
right back to your young superstar in Jahmyr Gibbs. But I want to go with the other guy where maybe has the same amount of speed as Gibbs, but it's more long-distance runner. Waymo. Because he's had 5 receptions in the last 2 games, but he hasn't broken one off yet. This is the game where I think he does break that 60-yarder, that 70-yarder, because he's been getting tackled in the spots. He has picked up some big third downs within these last 2 games. But I think this game is where he finds a little space where he can just take off like he did in that Jaguar game, and you will see him go for over 100 yards. He does break a big one in this game. I don't know. I like J-Mo to break one in this one, especially back-to-back weeks with 5+ receptions. Without breaking one, he's due.